And 2, what's next? Oh yeah, I do one more on this. There's 2. Oh yeah, so as you're going along this, Mercury's going along, it's going to conjunct the Sun. I didn't put the dates on here, but it's going to conjunct the Sun. It's going to conjunct Pluto when it hits the ascendant. That's an intense one. Oh no, it conjuncts Pluto just after. That's Pluto's over. It's at 14. Oh, no, it's going to be a little later. The exact dates are on your sheet. So what I did is I highlighted the ones on the sheets. So the progressed Mercury conjuncted her Sun in 1978. She was born in 69, so 79 years old. Her thinking and her confidence would have been really strong at that time. No bad aspects to the Sun. It's like, that's a really good connection. Then it moves along, and it's not till it's hitting the ascendant, and then the Pluto is the next big thing. In the meantime, there are some aspects that are going on, but I just highlight the main things, the main conjunctions here. So when we go forward, there it hits the ascendant, May 11th, 2014. Okay, it hits the Pluto, July 10th, 2016. So her Mercury goes down below the horizon, then she runs into some power struggle, confrontations on what's true, what's not. I don't have the backup of what's happening, what happened during that point, but you know that's a big thing. You can talk about that, you can ask questions about that, because you know you're walking into a person's life on a nerve that's really happening, and they're going to see that. And you're going to want, what happened? How did you interpret it? How did you come out of this? And then it goes forward. It hits Jupiter, conjuncts to Jupiter in 2021. So she's still in this in-between zone between this till it hits Jupiter in 2021. So this is Mercury in her first house in Virgo, but she's learning her astrology during this, and who knows what else. But it's going to culminate 2021, not that far away. We're finishing in just at 2019. So 2021 year later, she's probably going to be teaching herself as the first ascendant kind of Jupiter. How does she not take her ideas, which is up in the 10th house, and not use it for career or for establishing things? Okay. When it conjunct in the same period as it hits the Pluto, then it hits the Jupiter, then it hits the Uranus and opposes the Moon. So this would be, where are we here? On the right-hand side, it's in 2022, it hits it conjuncts Uranus, because really exciting, good for astrology, good for new ways of thinking. Then it opposes the Moon in February 24, and that probably, maybe she has a disagreement or is thinking differently, decides to move or change where she's living or something at that point, all of which are somewhat appropriate. But they would be shocking because it's coming from personal sides, where most of her life, her decisions would have been made up around career and status and what was secure in relationships and status, like above the horizon, functional things. And now things below the horizon are starting to affect the way she's thinking, which is going to spin over to the way she acts. I'm just touching little things in this. Each of these stories can be broken down, and you can talk to somebody, you can build up a whole story of how this worked in life. So really, if you're doing someone's bio, you should have a Sun progressed bio, a Mercury progressed bio, Venus progressed bio, and run through their whole life. And this is how this Mercury, how the mind evolved, how the thinking evolved during this time. Okay, here's sample 3. Let's get this. I shouldn't call it sample, example 3 or whatever. Just okay. July 23rd, 67 in Shanghai. Okay, now this up. So when you see the chart, her Mercury starts in the 7th house. Counseling, teaching. Her Sun's in the 8th house. Business, relationships, and her Mercury continually builds up to her midheaven through most of her life, and then goes out through the 10th, 11th house. Then it goes, if she lives long enough, in 2056, July Mercury goes retrograde. And it'll go retrograde till she lets go. Like, that's the later end of her life, the different changes of it. But until then, she has a Mercury all above the horizon, all moving up to the midheaven or in the 10th house. It's a very accomplishment-oriented period of life. The mind is geared to think like that. It's not geared to think about home, okay? Or my security. It's thinking in terms of status, position, what I'm doing. I don't want to be useless. I want to do things, and the thinking is going to be, the logic is going to go that way. But while it's building up the midheaven, it does go through the ninth house of principles and philosophies of what's right, what's wrong, what's the right way of looking at things. It does start expanding in understanding through that ninth house, leading up to the peak of status. So, okay, yeah, so I did 2 charts for each person. On the second chart, once you got through the main things, you saw the Mercury hitting the midheaven, 2202, which is still just coming, right? It's hitting the midheaven in 3 years. Our Mercury right now is up high. It's gone into Libra, going to do something, thinking about things she wants to do. And, right. Okay, so now you got the phases you can watch across a lifetime. You can see the changes of each sign. You begin to see the way you think differently. And as you think, as Mercury changes each sign, a different rulership comes in affecting the way you're thinking. And this is seeable. So from 1984, when Mercury conjunct the Sun very powerfully, then it moved up for the next, how many years when it was in Leo? Well, let me tell you, right here, until 84, it went into Leo, and it was in Leo until 99. So that's Mercury and that's what all in the 8th house about doing business, of shared resources, psychology, depth, inheritances, business. It's all, her thinking is all going up, and her Sun is moving up too. So you always look at a natal chart now, and you always see the Sun, and you see where it's moving for 90 degrees, where it is across a lifetime. You just have that in brain that's always there. It doesn't back away now. And the Mercury in that, those you have to look at. You have to see where it's going. See if when it goes retrograde, if she lives that long, it'll be, she'll be 88 or 89, and Mercury will go retrograde. But you can't presume what it is, but you can get sense of these time periods. And until then, it's going straight forward, building up. Right now, it's up in the 9th house. She's been studying astrology. She's translating things. She's going to start setting up her own astrology consultation, her own business, and she'll have it set up within a few years after finishing the program. So different people will use their knowledge different ways, but hers is really geared to, maybe that's involving going to being consulted half in China, half here, whatever. Okay, but now I've marked in the conjunct the Sun 84, and it'll conjunct the Jupiter. That's very successful. Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the 8th house. And what's teaching, what's real, what's going on, and that would have happened in 1990. Then it conjunct Venus in the 9th house. Oh, first it opposed the moon. After Jupiter opposes the moon, so some challenge with family. 94. So you're seeing the outer thing. Your mind gets pulled into it, but you're really trying to assess it from a deeper way to see the heart behind the mind in the midst of these situations. So when it opposed the moon, it was in 94. And then it conjuncted the Venus in 2004. So all these things are probably good for marriage, for business, making money. Like, these are positive, they're not really negative hits. And then, but then it conjuncts Pluto, that would conjunct Pluto of the 9th house. Pluto, conjunct Pluto in 2009, and conjuncted Uranus, will conjunct Uranus in 2003. No, in 2023. So, is that right? Conjuncts Pluto in 2012, conjuncts Uranus. It's moving pretty slow. It's moving pretty slow for that. There are 3 degrees. It's only, it shouldn't, is it that far? 8? No, it's not all that far. I'm reading it wrong. It's not December 20th, December 10th. So it goes from May 2009 hits Pluto, and 2010 it hits Uranus. So probably this is around the time she started to get interested in astrology. Her charts changed the way she's thinking. So these were marked here, but I went from here and I used the sheets I highlighted the points on the sheets so I can follow it through. I didn't have to write all the dates and clutter up then when I first look at it, you want to be able to see the main turning points. And this is in the background after you've already done the sun. You have the main things that it hits. Her Mercury will hit her midheaven in 2022 February. So you know she's going to write a book. She's going to do something. She's going to be really effective with her knowledge and her astrology and setting herself up, doing something she likes. It's the lead beside possibly counseling and teaching. Okay, so then it just goes on. It will oppose to Saturn shortly after that. So she'll be doing it. Then there'll be some cost there. I didn't highlight it. There's opposed Saturn in later on in the year. So it may take a little while to get started. Then it's going to conjunct Mars. Should be pumped even later to 2037. It builds up. So she's done much more mentally active. And then it comes up, and as she gets into her 80s, does it quite come up to, I don't think it quite comes up. Yes, it doesn't come up to Neptune. 1 second. Mercury goes to 17, 18, and Mercury is at 23. No, so it doesn't quite get back to Neptune. And then it goes retrograde. So it doesn't put Mercury. So her whole Mercury has been above the horizon and straightforward, and still is straightforward. It's only in the last stage she's going to have to rethink what she's doing. Where am I going to live? What am I going to do? It's going to change in those last few years. If you ever want to, when you want to study progressions, you work with your own chart. But if you want to get examples, you take some old people's charts who have a good story about their life, and you have a dedicating. You can watch the stages that went on through their life, and you'll see. And if you can talk to them, you'll see the changes. You can ask, well, what did you learn from that, or what did you go through from that? And you'll start tuning into the progressed side of it. What did you learn from it? What that was going on, but what did you learn out of it? What did you gather from that? Okay, here's someone, July 31st, 67, Wiesbaden, Germany. Mercury up in the 10th house. It's her Mercury goes direct, goes over the ascendant in 2011, then keeps going down through the first house, goes down, goes retrograde in 2049, and then goes retrograde. It won't go direct. She'd have to live past 100 to get direct again. So somewhere in there, that she'll let it go. So you got to wonder how far you're going to go, where you're going to go with it. But her Mercury, she's designed. Your Mercury works in your natal chart the way it works, and that's going to work. You're going to work your life that way. This is just inner attitudes and inner thoughts and how they're evolving while you're doing that. So even when things come up with your progressions, you're still going to try and use it as Mercury in your 10th house, but it's a different agenda inside of it. It's changing. So 2011 she had when it changed, when the progressed Mercury went out of her 12th house finally and went into the first house. That's a whole different relationship, a whole different identity to her knowledge. Okay, now we'll just take this a bit. Okay, good. Okay, here we still see the Mercury, but I drew some lines in for some age. When it conjunct the Sun, I put the date in. That was 2000. That was 2008-03. No, that's 90. Sorry, so I get that. Conjunct the Sun 2080-03, yeah. Okay, 1980-03, yeah. And then after that, it would conjunct the Mercury, which I don't have the date beside it. Goes into the 11th house, conjuncts Mercury, goes along, conjuncts Venus, goes into the 12th house. This is the Mercury, the mind moving along, and it goes, as it goes through, it hits the Pluto, conjuncts the Pluto, some intense confrontations, hits the Uranus, and then hits the ascendant in 2011. Then it just goes kind of straight forward on until it conjuncts the Mars. Yeah, so when it hit the ascendant, we got the ascendant at 2011. When we get down to the, conjunct the Mars. It's not marked up. I thought I had this all marked up. Okay, well, we'll get it here anyways. There you go. Sorry, I'll just mark it now.